back. Been waiting for you guys all to come back to Broadway. We didn't expect it to be together. And this feels like a real nice, classy Broadway gig, right? Like, you guys, handsome guys, great suits, great conversation, right?
Sure. Lovely Tuesday. What a great way to start the day. I love that.
I mean, who wouldn't want to see this?
I think it's kind of a perfect theatrical evening, constructed as such. We'll try and F it up as much as we can. But it starts as like this nice, highbrow conversation about contemporary art. Yeah. And it takes this intermissionless journey that sort of devolves into comedy chaos through like a lot of disconnect and contempt, and it ends in a very big way. So what you think you're starting to see is not what you wind up leaving with. So I like the surprise of it.
What's it been like, Bobby, getting to know these guys in rehearsal and digging into it?
Oh, just really incredible. I knew them all. I knew the couple of them just a teeny bit, a little bit. And I've been a huge fan of both of their work on stage and in film and television. And, that's the first question you ask, right? If you know anything about the play, well, who are the other two guys? And so I was thrilled to get to share stage with, I mean, Hedwig and one man, two governors over here. It's a no-brainer. I think we all more than enjoyed those productions. Those were like huge moments in our Broadway history here, and I felt so privileged to be able to get to see them both. So it's a privilege to be with the both of them.
Yeah, this is like the with the art. And you're that guy, right? You buy a painting. That's sort of the jump off of all this, right? A beautiful painting that looks like what?
I wouldn't call it monochromatic, but it's a whitish in tone. There's a couple like diagonal stripes, another little line at the bottom. It's by a very well-known painter named Andreas.
Right.
It's just a white square on a. Okay.
It's not.
Yeah, you have a lot of opinions.
It's not just a white square.
I mean, this is the play. You're watching. You say, guys, calm down. And that's it. That's the play in a whole.
This was actually your idea, I heard, to maybe bring back art. And do you want to play this role?
It's a part that I've always loved, and a play that I think is due a revival. This is a play that whether in London or in New York and around the world has consistently, I think, was it 28 years ago that it was on here, and it won Best Play at the Tony, it won Best Play at the Olivier's, and what's interesting about that is sometimes a play won something 28 years ago and you pick it up and read it and you think, I don't know if this could work today. This feels of a different time. We're certainly finding now in rehearsals, this feels like it could have been written 2 months ago. It's so rich. The dialogue is so great, and I think what Neil said is right. The construct of it is such a perfect theatrical experience. It treats the audience with respect. It treats the audience. It accepts that they're going to listen, that they're okay with context and nuance and differences of opinion, and the whole play is under 100 minutes, no intermission, and it's done, and it's funny, and it's hopefully moving, and I'm loving the whole experience so far of being in a rehearsal room with these two, just watching them, working with them, Scott Ellis directing the play. It feels so wonderful right now.
In all those years of hosting the Late Late Show, were you just looking at guests thinking like, who do I want to do Broadway with? You guys weren't you both guests on?
All the time. All the time.
Were you?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Who'd be fun to do a play with on Broadway?
Well, also it's not really about who you do a play with. It's just because I would always go and see all the guests before the show started. So I'd always go and see them. And that's really where you get to sort of hang out and chat. And you get a very strong sense of like, oh man, I would love to work with those guys. And I've such respect for Neil and Bobby, who, it's very, very rare for performers who are so in demand in film and television not to be just completely consumed by film and television and sucked into that world very, very quickly. If you talk about, series of unfortunate events or Boardwalk Empire, all these shows are huge. And it's very, very easy for actors to say that they love the stage and say that that's what they want to do and that's where their true love is. But sure enough, you look up and 12 years, 13, 14 years later, they haven't stepped back on a stage. And my respect for Neil and Bobby as performers to keep the discipline of being committed to that is incredible. And that was really, as soon as it became clear that they were interested in doing it, it was a no-brainer, really.
I mean, I've seen you all do extremely high energy performances on stage. This feels like it's going to be interesting because I feel like you have to probably stay extremely alert for those 100 minutes, right? What is it like doing a play like this? It's the three of you just talking. It's very simple. It's very much about the people and the emotions and the story. What is it like getting ready to do something like this and getting in that rhythm in rehearsal?
It's intense calibration, I think, because Yasmina Reza, who's the playwright, she wrote this very specific construct, and it's a big discussion with differing opinions, and we're in Paris, and so the archetypes are argumentative men who, what are you talking about? That can't be true. Well, you don't even know what you're talking. It's like, it's that vibe, but it's written really specifically, long sentences with complex vocabulary within it to get your point across. It's almost like Mammoth in Paris. And so we have to be on our own game really well, and then we also have to be listening to each other, because as we shift with interest, like a pause here or a different tone here, then everyone's kind of moving. So that's what we're doing in rehearsals right now. And I just think it's great. We're in a time right now where differences of opinions is really triggering for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our algorithmic world makes us only talk about things we agree with people we agree with. And so I think it'll be fun to sit and watch people really disagree about things in a passionate way in 2025.
It's a puzzle too, right? The play. I mean, like, you know, to James's point, the play has been so critically acclaimed and lauded, and it's won every award. They teach it in the curriculum in France. You know, the kids, you know, kids have to they learn about this play, and so, you know, I wouldn't say the pressure's on, but it is a puzzle, right? I mean, you'll be working on it, and then you'll get 3/4 of the way through, and you'll realize, well, my argument doesn't make sense because of how I've been playing this earlier in the play, and you have to figure it out, right? It's an unlocking of sorts, and so you can look at it and go, well, it's only a 45-page play, it's only 100 minutes, less than 100 minutes, but it's a lot of work to try to figure out how to try to remain emotionally true to these characters straight through from the beginning to the end, not show as many colors as you can, and, you know, make the evening believable, realistic, and entertaining, right? It's like, you know, you could say that about any play, but it's really so well constructed, and people know that this play has been recognized for so long. You really do want to feel like you're going to get it right. And there are times when you have to kind of go back to square one and go, I have to rethink that now because I don't know that I've earned the argument in the end. And so it's really an interesting thing to work on. I go home and I walk around for a long time in my head, you know, thinking about these arguments that I may have had paralleling my life, and it's a joy to get to work on it, but it is an intense mental exercise working on this play.
It's strange.
There's something so masculine about this play, and I know that Yasmina has said that she doesn't want women to perform it. It's really written for men. You know, like I have a friend whose name I will not say, who just like has to tell me his opinion, even if he knows like that it's going to piss me off. You know, those people they just have to like. They just have to. There's just something in that, right? And I know that you kind of like start to play that way, don't you?
Character, yeah. He cannot. It's so funny. He cannot help himself. It's who he is, and he. Not only that, but he's already 20 years into an established relationship in which the roles have been defined, at least to him. You know, there's a line later on in the play that's been haunting me every night, where he talks about how he is, you know, in moral quicksand, this guy. You know, he's sort of stuck in this quicksand, and I've been thinking about that a lot and what that means, and, you know, and trying my best not to get too caught up in it, and because You know, what does that mean when somebody, at least when somebody that you're close to views you that way? Does that just throw you off your axis? I think it does when a good friend is critical of your behavior, of the person that you are, even though they've been friends with you all these years. So I think those kind of unexpected surprises that are revealed in the play between these friends, I think is like really, it's where I think the rubber meets the road in terms of anybody who comes in who doesn't know anything about the play. I think they will be able to get down with it, that they will be able to recognize themselves. I think anybody can recognize themselves in this play. It might seem like it's a play about three well-to-do guys arguing over a piece of contemporary art, but I'm positive that anybody can get down with this play and see themselves in any of these characters.
Can I say too, it is an absolute joy to be rehearsing with these two specifically, because even hearing you both answer questions, like there's a deep appreciation for the source material. It's not like they're coming in saying, well, I know that this is the script, but this is like, I'm gonna do my own thing, which I've been a part of too. But we're all like so like dedicated to figuring out the written sentence within each scene and like how it can make sense and questioning when it doesn't. And I think that's just so fantastic that you both care so much about it. It really has been making the process a joy.
I think when you know what the play can be as well and what it can mean to audiences, like when you've seen it before. I've never done a revival before. I've only ever done like new plays, and so the feeling of, you know, there'll be two separate audiences that will see this play. There'll be people that have never seen it or never heard of it before and will be coming in completely fresh. And then there will be people that we've all met since this was announced who go, oh man, I saw Alan Alda and Victor Garber and Alfred Molina do it. Oh, I can't wait. And you just go, oh, okay, you know.
Or like George Wendt was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, so many guys have done this play, and the trio of actors, it's really special. And I feel like you're actually becoming this little Broadway legacy, right? You're now the new art trio, and it must be fun at this point in your career. I always wonder what it's like for actors to get to sort of jump into these new friendships and families, and what is it like actually getting to know each other and knowing that you're about to embark on this adventure together?
It's great.
It's lovely, especially it's the summertime, you know, and so, you know, it's really easy to just all go and sit across the street and have a salad together or sit outside and go for a walk together. And it's a lovely time to be working on a play in New York, you know. The city doesn't feel so crowded, you know, because people are away, and it's lovely.
We have a wonderful director, Scott Ellis, who's directing the play. Is a fantastic energy and lets us play around when we will need to play around, and it's very serious in the points when we need to be very serious about the play, and it makes the whole thing, there's a lightness to it, which sometimes when you're doing a play, it can be very, very serious, almost too serious. You can talk yourself around in circles sometimes, and yet this is just, like, I think Neil's right, there's an appreciation of the text, there's an appreciation of the experience from every single person in the room, and it's so far making it a joy. I can already feel like, it's that thing when you try and go, oh, you look back at stuff sometimes, you think, oh, they were the good days, you know, and I'm already really, really trying to remind myself that, no, these are the good days, I'm living these good days, because it's inconceivable to me that at some point in 5 or 10 or 15 years' time that I will look back on this time and go, oh my God, it was just a blast, because it already feels like that. And so it's trying to hold on to that whilst we're doing it.
I've never laughed so hard.
Yeah, we're doing a play that is not constructed as a comedy, right? It's really, Yasmina wrote it as a tragedy. And so we're picking apart these sentences, not thinking there's going to be a big laugh here. We're thinking about, like, what does it mean? And we're fighting, we're arguing. And I've never laughed so hard in rehearsals. So we're like having the best time throughout it, even though our end goal is not comedy. So it's just been a joy.
Thanks, guys. I can't wait to see your art.
Thank you.